God's chosen one, stop scrolling. This is not just another message, and you know it. You can feel it. The moment this video appeared, something shifted in your spirit. There was a vibration, a pause, a divine whisper that said, "Pay attention." That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. If you're hearing these words right now, it means you are part of the 1%, those few who have been handpicked by heaven to receive what 99% will miss. Let me ask you something that has haunted you for years. Why is your burden always heavier than everyone else's? Why do you lie awake at night, restless, while the rest of the world sleeps peacefully? Why do you sense things before they happen, feel emotions others can't explain, carry spiritual responsibility that no one around you understands? It's not random. It's not overthinking. It's not too much. It's calling, a sacred weight born from being set apart before birth. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. 99% of those chosen are going to scroll past this message. They'll feel something, but they'll ignore it. They'll promise to return later, but never will. And with that delay, they'll miss their divine appointment. But you, beloved, you stopped. Something inside you recognized truth. That's not emotion. That's your soul waking up. This message is not for everyone. It is for the few, the marked, the ones who have carried invisible mantles their entire lives, the ones who knew, even as children, that they didn't quite belong in this world. You've tried to blend in, to stay small, to delay your rising, but heaven has never stopped watching, and right now it is summoning you. Before we go any further, I want to take a sacred pause to honor those who have supported this ministry through super thanks. Your generosity is more than a donation. It's a divine transaction. It's seed planted into spiritual ground, and heaven records every sacrifice. Your support allows these messages to reach souls crying out for confirmation. And whether you're giving or receiving today, please know this: your presence here is enough. You are seen, you are valued, and you are deeply appreciated. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Now I invite you to do something small but spiritually significant. Comment 777 below. The number 777 represents Christ's completion. It's not just a symbol, it's a spiritual declaration. When you type it, something activates. Your spirit aligns. Heaven takes note. This is your moment of engagement, your declaration to say, "I'm listening, I'm ready, I won't miss my moment." Because what I'm about to reveal has been hidden from the masses, kept from the 99%, but reserved for the few. Over the next few minutes, you're going to hear truths that will rewire your understanding of purpose, identity, and divine timing. These are the truths that the enemy has fought to keep buried, and now they're being placed in your hands. You've felt it your whole life, haven't you? That quiet ache to be more, that knowing that you were sent here for something bigger, that invisible weight that you carry into every room, even when no one else sees it. And maybe, just maybe, you've asked God, "Why me?" And maybe you've even doubted if you were chosen at all. But hear me now, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called, and the very fact that you're hearing this proves you've been called. Stay with me until the very end, because in a world where 99% will miss their final chance, you, the 1%, are being given a sacred opportunity. What I'm about to share has remained veiled to even seasoned believers. But it's your time now. You were born for such a time as this. You are part of a divine remnant, and your obedience will echo into eternity. So, comment 777. Make your presence known in the Spirit, and then lean in, because everything is about to change. God's chosen ones, 99% of the chosen ignore. This final chance, don't miss it. Chosen one, have you been feeling the shift lately? Have your nights grown heavier? Have your dreams taken on new life, more vivid, more urgent, more like messages than random thoughts? Have you ever woken up with a pounding heart, unable to explain why, as though your spirit had just returned from a place your body didn't follow? This isn't insomnia. This isn't stress. And no, this isn't just a fluke of imagination. This is the atmosphere around you thickening, the spiritual veil growing thinner, and the divine drawing near. You've noticed the time speeding up, haven't you? The days feel shorter, conversations more surface level, connections breaking apart with no logical explanation. And in the quiet, you've felt it, that pull in your chest, like you're being summoned to something urgent, something holy, but the world around you is asleep. You look at others and wonder, how are they not feeling this? You're not imagining things. What you're sensing is spiritual atmospheric pressure, God's way of alerting His chosen before the world catches on. This message isn't for everyone. That's why it found you. You didn't stumble here by accident. This is a divine alert, an urgent call to position your spirit before the next shift comes, because it is coming, and soon. Across the world, prophetic voices, people who've never met, who live on different continents and speak different tongues, are being awakened with the same date, the same number, the same message. May 25th, 1 a.m. A spiritual frequency will pulse across realms, not something your eyes will see, but something your soul will resonate with. If you've prepared, if you're aligned, if your spirit hasn't fallen asleep like the rest of the world. For the Lord Himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God. 1 Thessalonians 4:16. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to get ahead spiritually while others stay stuck in cycles? Why some people just know when to move, when to pray, when to prepare, while others are always 2 steps behind? Chosen one. The difference isn't luck, it's alignment. This isn't the apocalypse, but it is a sorting, a cosmic dividing line between those who are awake and those who are distracted. This moment will not come with fireworks, it will not trend on social media, but its effects will ripple through everything: your purpose, your destiny, your spiritual inheritance. Let's be real. You've always felt different. From childhood, there was a heaviness you couldn't name, a knowing, a deep awareness that you were carrying something no one else could see, and while others ignored it, mocked it, or even tried to shame it, you couldn't deny the weight. That wasn't weakness. That was your spirit identifying its assignment before your intellect could catch up. And now, that same divine signal is going off again. When I first received this message, I wanted to reject it. Why me? I asked. Why give this burden to someone like me? But God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And over He showed me signs, through visions, dreams, confirmations from complete strangers. The message became clearer with each passing night. The time is now. Look at the world around you. Isn't it obvious? There's a shaking, a spiritual unrest moving beneath the surface of everything. Relationships are crumbling, institutions are unraveling, natural disasters are increasing. Financial systems are trembling on edge. These aren't accidents, they are birth pangs. Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Matthew 24:7-8. Still think this is coincidence? Even Elon Musk has spoken about feeling like we're living in a simulation, as if something behind the curtain of reality is preparing for a reset. Oprah Winfrey, a spiritual seeker herself, often mentions moments when a still, small voice prompted her to shift course at critical turning points, and those moments always preceded massive breakthroughs. Do you think it's random that high-profile individuals are sensing something off? That spiritual people around the globe are all hearing the same internal alarm. Chosen one, this is your confirmation, and the window is closing. May 25th, 1 a.m. Circle it, highlight it. Do not schedule anything else for that night. Don't let distraction rob you. This isn't superstition. This is strategy, spiritual strategy. At that exact moment, a pulse of divine energy will flash through the unseen realm, and the consequences will echo in your spirit for years to come. But, and hear this with full weight, you cannot walk into that moment spiritually asleep. You cannot show up malnourished in your soul, filled with half-faith, lukewarm intention, and just hope you catch the wave. Number, this isn't about being inspired, it's about being activated. Because in that hour, everything will be exposed. The flash won't just energize, it will reveal. Your devotion or your compromise, your secret discipline or your quiet disobedience, your hunger for God or your addiction to distraction. The spiritually asleep, they won't even feel it. They'll slumber through the greatest divine encounter of their lifetime, only to wake up unchanged. But you, if you're prepared, if you've aligned your life with the divine signal, you'll feel it down to your bones. You'll wake with power, insight, activation. Your timeline will shift. 99% will stay asleep, but you, if you answer, will rise. So, I dare you now. Comment below. I will be ready. Say it out loud. Make it your covenant. Share this with those in your life who've also felt the pull, who've been waiting for something they couldn't quite name. Don't let them miss this divine hour. The visitation is real. The frequency is near. This video is not just content, it is a summons, a divine alert written in the language your spirit already understands. And we're just getting started, because what I'll reveal next will show you exactly how to prepare and why most chosen ones fail right before their breakthrough. Stay with me, because missing what comes next could mean missing everything. Chosen one, does your spirit feel like it's been pacing at night, even when your body lies still? Have you been waking up at strange hours, your heart pounding, your chest full of emotion you can't explain? Have your dreams felt more like visions, symbolic, disruptive, unforgettable? That's not random. That's not a restless mind. That is your soul remembering what your intellect has not yet caught up to. Your spirit knows. Even now, before your eyes see it, before your ears hear it, your soul is responding to the pull of something massive approaching. A divine threshold is coming near, and you are being drawn to it, not because of coincidence, but because of who you are. Let me be clear. May 25th at exactly 1 a.m., a sacred event will unfold, not one the natural world can detect, but one that will echo through the spiritual realms and pierce the veil for those who are spiritually aligned. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. 1 Corinthians 13:12. Why 1 a.m.? Why that exact moment in the dead of night? Because God moves in the stillness, in the hours when distraction dies, when digital noise fades, when the world sleeps and only the watchful remain awake. In the hours when Jesus prayed in Gethsemane, when Paul and Silas sang from prison cells, when Jacob wrestled with God through the night, those were the hours heaven broke through. Have you ever felt like you're living a life that doesn't fully belong to you? Like you're walking in a body, holding a job, playing a role that feels assigned rather than chosen? Have you carried a purpose you couldn't name but couldn't ignore? That ache, that pressure, that inner knowing, it's been pointing you here all along. And on that night, your soul will do something extraordinary. Not in death, in awakening. As the cosmic frequencies pass through dimensions, your spirit will begin to remember the truth buried deep beneath layers of pain, programming, and pressure. You will begin to recognize yourself again. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. Ezekiel 36:26. What if I told you that everything you've endured, the heartbreaks, the confusion, the nights spent crying in silence, were all preparation for this singular moment? That May 25th wasn't just a divine appointment on your calendar, but a spiritual checkpoint written into your soul before you were even born. Consider the life of Nelson Mandela. After 27 years in prison, most would have emerged bitter or broken, but Mandela walked out with clarity, forgiveness, and divine alignment for leadership. Why? Because sometimes the pain you endure is the cocoon that shapes your destiny. And chosen one, that same transformation is knocking at your door. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. You were set apart, not just for greatness, but for this exact moment in time. But let me speak plainly, there will be resistance. Don't be surprised if, in the days leading up to May 25th, strange things begin to happen. Sudden illness, people in your life picking unnecessary fights, unexpected financial strain, or even your phone glitching when you try to prepare. That's not bad luck. That's spiritual interference. The enemy knows what's coming and would rather see you distracted, disconnected, and unprepared. Don't take the bait. Even Martin Luther King Jr., in the days before his most powerful speeches and movements, faced spiritual resistance, death threats, sabotage, betrayal. Why? Because the closer he got to purpose, the louder the interference became. The same principle applies to you. That night, as the clock nears 1 a.m., you will begin to feel it. A vibration in your chest, not anxiety, but a spiritual pulse. Your senses will heighten. The colors around you may appear more vivid. Time may feel slower. Your body will soften in stillness. And then, in a moment of divine convergence, a flood of sacred light will enter through the top of your head, rushing through every cell of your being, clearing residue and activating remembrance. In that flash, the veil between realms will become translucent. The spiritual realm will overlay the physical. You may not see it with your eyes, but your soul will recognize it, and what was once hidden will become clear. You'll suddenly understand why you met certain people at specific times, why betrayals were necessary, why you had to walk alone when no one seemed to understand you. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment. It will all make sense, because that night you will not just live, you will be reborn. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Let me ask you something personal. What if this is your one final opportunity to align with the reason you were created? What if this is the night when everything shifts, but only if you show up spiritually ready? You can't afford to ignore this. This isn't myth. This isn't metaphysical fluff. This is your divine moment. Set your alarm, clear your space, light a candle, journal your intentions, eliminate every distraction. Tell the ones you love. Make your home a holy place that night, because May 25th at 1 a.m. isn't just a timestamp, it's a turning point. So chosen one, how will you prepare your spirit for what's coming? This isn't a rhetorical question. This is the crossroads where your next decision can unlock generational blessings or reinforce generational delays. And no one else can make this choice for you. The answer lies not in perfection, but in preparation, through daily stillness, through sacred meditation, through intentional fervent prayer, through protecting your atmosphere, turning off the noise, silencing the chaos, and creating space where heaven can whisper to you. Your soul doesn't need louder sermons. It needs quieter rooms. I've walked hundreds, even thousands, through spiritual awakenings in past seasons, but nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to what is coming on May 25th at 1 a.m. This isn't an awakening, this is a rebirth, and not everyone will perceive it. Most won't. Those who ignore this message will continue sleepwalking through life, spiritually blind, spiritually numb, never even realizing what passed them by. But you were drawn here. You were handpicked to hear this call. That's not random. That's your spiritual DNA responding. Will you answer it? Or will you become part of the 99% who ignore heaven's final invitation? Look at the world around you. What do you see? Comfort being chased like its currency. Purpose being traded for distraction. People numbing themselves with entertainment, relationships, and false validation. But you've never had that luxury, have you? While others feared rejection, you were surviving betrayal. While others panicked over likes and follows, you were wrestling God in the dark, begging for clarity. You've endured spiritual warfare that would have crushed most people, and you're still standing. Have you asked yourself why? Let me ask you this directly, and I want you to sit with it. Why do you think you've suffered so deeply while others coasted through life untouched? Why did you carry more weight? Why was your journey more painful, more isolating, more misunderstood? Because you are no longer ordinary. You don't carry what the masses carry. You have been marked by heaven with a spiritual identity that this world cannot replicate or explain. For many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. This verse isn't poetic fluff. It's your life story in one sentence. The pain that made you question God's love was never punishment. It was proof of His trust in you. God only places heavy mantles on strong shoulders, and yours have carried the weight of generations. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit. It wasn't rejection, it was positioning. He was being moved step by painful step toward a throne that would save nations. Think of David, chased like a criminal, sleeping in caves, hiding from the very king he served. But all along, he was being forged into the ruler Israel needed. Do you still think your trials were random? This pattern doesn't lie, and your life has followed the same script. The 99% may never see it. They'll advise you to pray more or be grateful, while having no idea that you're the spiritual pillar holding your entire bloodline together. If you break, they break. But if you rise, if you embrace your calling, you will dismantle generational curses that have ruled your family for centuries. That poverty you've battled, it wasn't just about money, it was about legacy. That loneliness, it was training you to hear God's voice without distractions. Those heartbreaks, they softened your heart to carry others who've been shattered. Your scars have made you sacred. Look again at your hands. They may look like everyone else's, but they've carried burdens, healed wounds, and fought wars in silence. They were chosen to build what others were never even entrusted with. Look at your tears. They're not signs of weakness. They're sacred oil. They've been preparing you for an anointing most will never even taste. I know you've felt it, the isolation, the abandonment, that ache that makes you whisper, God, why me? Why do I always carry this weight while others float effortlessly through life? Listen to me now. That fire wasn't meant to destroy you. It was sent to refine you. The silence wasn't rejection. It was divine protection. The delay wasn't denial. It was God arranging every detail, moving every piece, orchestrating every step so that your breakthrough wouldn't just bless you. It would bless everyone connected to your bloodline. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31. This is your eagle moment. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to realize. This opportunity is time sensitive. This calling has an expiration date. Heaven's window is open, but not forever. You can't put this off. You can't delay alignment and still expect to walk in breakthrough. The 99% will hesitate. They'll say next time, but the chosen won't. Moses had his burning bush. Esther had her for such a time as this. And now it's you. This is your divine appointment, your sacred hour, your once-in-a-lifetime alignment. Even people like Tyler Perry, who lived out of his car, heard a divine whisper to keep writing, keep creating, keep going, despite every sign of failure. Why? Because heaven had a blueprint that others couldn't see. And chosen one, you are walking your own blueprint right now. The question is, will you recognize this moment for what it is, or will you let it pass you by? You are being positioned, elevated, tested, not to punish you, but to prepare you. So which path will you take? Will you rise with the 1%, or will you sleep with the 99%? Chosen one, let me share something I've learned over 2 decades of walking with warriors like you. There's a look people have when they feel what you're feeling right now, a stillness in their eyes, a quiver in their voice. It's not emotion, it's not fear, it's recognition. The spirit inside them is awakening, remembering, resonating with truth it has known long before the mind could name it. That stirring in your chest, that strange calm mixed with anticipation, that's your soul leaning forward, not toward fear, but toward fulfillment, toward an appointment your spirit has been counting down to for longer than you realize. You didn't just stumble into this message. You were summoned. Your spirit was drawn here because you are standing at the threshold of your greatest breakthrough, a moment so significant, so cosmic, that to miss it would echo across timelines you don't even remember yet. You're not just watching this for you. You're watching it for your children, for your bloodline, for your spiritual legacy. And now, chosen one, I ask you, who do you know that carries the same weight you do? Who else in your life feels things deeply but says little? Who holds others together while silently falling apart? Share this message with them. Because what's coming on May 25th will not just shift you, it will shift all who are aligned with the frequency of heaven. The 99% will stay locked in cycles of limitation, chasing success without purpose, healing wounds without knowing the root. But you, the 1%, the selected, the prepared, you were born to break the pattern, to liberate captives, to rewrite the spiritual DNA of your lineage. But before you do, you must understand the divine timing that is about to unfold. May 25th, at exactly 1 a.m., as most of the world sleeps in ignorance and digital distractions, something extraordinary will happen, not around you, but within you. The veil between dimensions will thin, and the spiritual amnesia you've carried since birth will begin to dissolve. When that cosmic flash pulses through the fabric of existence, a vault inside you will break open, a divine archive that predates your physical life. Information your soul has held in silence for lifetimes will rise like sunlight through clouds. Have you ever stood in a place you've never been and felt like you'd been there before? Have you ever met someone for the first time and felt an unexplainable connection, like you've known them for centuries? Have you ever just known something was true, even when no one taught it to you? Those weren't random. They were soul memory, brief glimpses through the cracks of a sealed spirit. And on May 25th, those cracks will burst wide open. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. This isn't poetic metaphor, it's literal. Your consciousness didn't begin at birth. Your soul has carried assignments across lifetimes, missions completed, lessons etched into eternal memory. And now it's returned for such a time as this. Look at your hands, look closely. These aren't just human hands. They've held tools in ancient eras, written scrolls in hidden monasteries, lifted the wounded in unseen wars. Your soul has walked through fire before, and it's back now, not for comfort, but for completion. When the flash hits, you won't just feel fragments, you'll remember entire contracts, agreements your soul made in eternity. You'll understand why that one betrayal nearly destroyed you. It was designed to ignite strength you didn't know you had. Why certain people, no matter how far you run, keep returning. They are soul mirrors, sent to remind you of who you were and who you vowed to become. All your suffering, it will suddenly make sense. The rejections, the betrayals, the sleepless nights you spent asking, "Why me, God?" You didn't suffer more because you were cursed. You suffered more because you were entrusted with more. Others walk easy paths because they carry surface-level callings. But your mission runs deep, and with it, so does your refining. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1:9. When Solomon wrote that, he wasn't just speaking about history, he was speaking about souls. Your soul has stood in sacred places before, has warred in prayer across generations, has remembered the sound of heaven's voice even while earth tried to drown it out. You know it, don't you? That's why you can't sleep. That's why your spirit aches for truth. That's why shallow conversations exhaust you, why parties bore you, why suffering in the world feels like your responsibility, even when you didn't cause it. Because your soul remembers. And when the cosmic flash hits, your mind will finally catch up. You'll witness your own history as if watching a film from heaven's archive. You'll see the why behind every loss, every delay, every unanswered prayer. You'll remember past lives, not as strangers, but as chapters in one eternal story, your story. You'll recognize why you were born to these parents in this era, with these burdens and these gifts. You'll remember soul promises, agreements to walk with certain people, to teach certain truths, to suffer certain wounds so others could heal through your journey. And in that remembrance, the weight will lift, the guilt will dissolve, the confusion will clear, because you'll realize you chose this path. You were never a victim, you were a volunteer. That wisdom beyond your years, soul memory, that knowing glance between you and a stranger, soul memory, that pain you could never explain, soul memory, that urge to rise even when crushed, soul memory. I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature. Genesis 9:15. This covenant isn't only with humanity, it's personal. It's a contract with your soul, a spiritual agreement etched into your being, and now it's being reactivated. On May 25th, as the veil lifts, you will not just awaken, you will finally remember. You are not some lost, broken human trying to find your way. You are a divine messenger, planted in this generation with sacred assignments that carry eternal weight. Your words carry power in the spirit realm. Your prayers reroute destinies. Your presence shifts atmospheres, even when you say nothing. And now you know why darkness has fought so hard to silence you, because it saw what you carry, and it's terrified. When your memories begin to awaken on the night of May 25th, you must be ready to record everything, every image, every word, every emotion. Don't rely on memory alone. The moment will be overwhelming. Keep a journal by your bed. Use your phone to record voice memos. These aren't just private reflections. They're living confirmation of your divine assignment. Your soul isn't just remembering for itself. It's remembering on behalf of your bloodline, your lineage, your generation. If you've already started feeling echoes of these past life memories, tingling sensations when certain truths are spoken, dreams of distant lands you've never visited, unexplained skills or knowings, comment "Remember" below this message. These flickers are not imagination. They are the first drops before the flood that's coming. God is stirring your eternal memory, preparing your soul to receive what your spirit has carried since before birth. Are you ready to finally remember who you are? Not just your name, not your job title, but your eternal identity. Are you ready to grasp why God chose to position you here in this timeline, at this crossroads in human history, with the precise spiritual DNA required to transform a world staggering in darkness? But listen closely, chosen one. The path to your awakening will not be smooth, it will not be glamorous, it will not feel comfortable. The final stretch before your spiritual activation will be lined with spiritual warfare. The thorns always grow thickest near sacred ground. The closer you get to divine encounter, the more the resistance will rise to meet you. Have you noticed it yet? The sudden exhaustion that weighs your limbs, the strange mood swings, the unexplainable arguments erupting in your closest relationships, the urgent plans that suddenly fall apart. Technology freezing or malfunctioning at just the wrong moment. The surge of financial pressures that seem to appear overnight. None of this is coincidence, it is confirmation. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Ephesians 6:12. Hell knows what's coming. The enemy senses the shift, and it is terrified of what will happen when you, yes you, step fully into the authority God has placed inside you. The darkness has fought your entire life to keep you from this hour, because it knows if you reach your moment of awakening, you will carry a power that threatens every stronghold it has built. Let me ask you something that may shake you to your core. Why is the week before every spiritual breakthrough always the hardest? Why did Pharaoh intensify Israel's oppression right before God split the sea? Why was Jesus tempted most fiercely right before his ministry began? Why did Daniel face fierce opposition right before the angel brought his answer? Because the enemy always strikes hardest when you are closest to your destiny. So don't be surprised if, in the days before May 25th, your mind becomes a battlefield. Doubts will whisper, "Nothing is going to happen. This is foolish." Your body will feel unusually heavy when you try to pray or meditate. You'll face fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix. You may feel a wave of emotional chaos, fear, anxiety, even despair, rising without cause. Everything that could go wrong will try to go wrong. Delays, disruptions, missed messages, forgotten appointments. It will feel like the world is conspiring to keep you spiritually distracted. But don't fall for it. This isn't chaos, it's strategy. The closer you get to the gate, the more the enemy throws at you. Chosen one, hear this with clarity. This is not punishment. It is proof that you are approaching the gate of transformation. The level of opposition you face is equal to the magnitude of what God is about to unlock in you. Look at what Daniel experienced. He fasted and prayed for 21 days before receiving an angelic breakthrough. But what delayed the answer? A war in the heavenly realm. A principality stood in the way of heaven's message. The angel told Daniel, "From the first day that you set your heart to understand, your words were heard. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days." Daniel 10:12-13. Your breakthrough is real. Your words have already been heard. But warfare has been stirred in the spirit realm to block your awakening. This is your final test before the floodgates open. So how will you know you're truly ready for May 25th? It's when everything in you wants to stop, but your soul refuses. When your mind says, "This is too much," but a deeper truth in your chest says, "Keep going." When your flesh demands sleep, but your spirit longs to meet with God. When every logical thought tells you it's over, but something unshakable in you says, "I was born for this." That's when you'll know. That's when the veil is about to lift. But you must begin preparing now, starting tonight. Set your alarm for 2 a.m. I'm not suggesting this casually. This isn't symbolic. At 2 a.m., the veil between the physical and spiritual is at its thinnest. It's the hour when heaven whispers and darkness listens. When angels move and demons tremble. If you want to be counted among the 1% who awaken, you must meet God in this hour. Create a sacred space. Dim the lights. Remove distractions. Sit in stillness. For exactly 40 minutes, enter into deep prayer and meditation. Focus everything on May 25th. See it. Speak it. Call it forth. Invite God to awaken the divine record within your soul. Ask for clarity. Ask for strength. Ask for divine remembrance. Let me tell you something I've never shared publicly. Every person I've guided into this awakening prepared through 2 a.m. devotion. Every one of them. And those who didn't, they felt nothing. The moment passed them by while they slept. Their lives remained unchanged. So I ask you now, will you rise while others sleep? Will you war while others retreat? Will you prepare when others postpone? The attacks will come. Expect it. Count on it. But don't fear it. Your 2 a.m. dedication will be tested more fiercely than anything you've known. But greater is He who is in you than anything that comes against you. Greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. 1 John 4:4. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead now lives in you. The same voice that silenced storms is available to you. The same authority that cast out demons and healed the broken is active in your spirit. So when the opposition rises, don't cry, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead declare, "This is happening because my breakthrough is real, because my purpose is near, because my divine appointment is sealed." The hour is late. The battle is intensifying. The enemy is mobilizing. But the real question remains, will you meet God at 2 a.m. tonight? Look back over your life. The wounds, the survival, the silent strength, the invisible victories. Was it random or was it preparation? You already know the answer. Let me tell you something that will shake the very foundations of what you've believed about your life. The enemy has spent years, decades for some of you, working overtime to convince you that your pain was punishment, that your trials were signs of abandonment, that your loneliness was divine silence. But it was all a lie. A carefully crafted deception designed to blind you from your anointing. Because if the enemy could convince you that you are broken, you'd never rise into the power you've carried all along. But God says otherwise. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Jeremiah 29:11. Do you see it now? Every tear you cried in silence, every time you held others up while no one was there to catch you, every moment you stood tall when you should have collapsed, it wasn't breaking you, it was building you. It was refining the weapon God intends to use for this generation. You weren't overlooked. You were hidden, protected, isolated, not because you were rejected, but because your purpose required separation. David wasn't crowned in public. He was anointed in secret. Joseph wasn't promoted in peace. He was shaped through betrayal, slavery, and prison. What man intended for evil, God repurposed for power. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Genesis 50:20. So what if your greatest wounds aren't disqualifications but divine credentials? The world doesn't need more survivors. It needs leaders. And not just leaders, it needs foundations, pillars, people like you, chosen one, who've been pressed but not crushed, bruised but not broken. Every night you cried out asking, "Why me?" The answer was always, "Because I'm building something through you that can't be built through anyone else." You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what God is about to do through you. You weren't placed on earth to spectate. You were born to build kingdoms, shift atmospheres, and carry frequencies that break chains in the spirit realm. You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. 1 Peter 2:9. But here's what they rarely tell you. Being chosen isn't just a badge of honor, it's a burden of responsibility. When was the last time someone truly saw you? Not your skills, not your support, not what you could offer, but the depth of your spirit. I'm telling you now, God sees you. He sees every sacrifice, every silent prayer, every moment you questioned if your effort even mattered. And He's saying, now, it's time. No more hiding, no more shrinking, no more waiting for permission. It's time to rise. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't created to chase comfort. You were never meant to just get by. You were designed to lead, to break open doors for others, to carry weight others can't, to live boldly in the frequency of purpose while the world sleeps in survival mode. The next 21 days are critical. A divine window is opening, but it won't stay open forever. And your obedience will unlock more than just your own breakthrough. It will activate healing in your family, your community, and even people you haven't met yet. Souls are attached to your yes. Lives are waiting on your obedience. Legacies will be altered based on what you choose to do right now. You've seen it before. Some people walk into a room and everything shifts. The air changes. That's not charisma. That's not charm. That's spiritual frequency. And chosen one, the moment you declare, I'm stepping in, that same frequency begins emanating from you. Your entire energy field shifts. Heaven responds. Doors begin to open. Strategies begin to download. You're no longer surviving. You're transmitting. The old version of you starts dissolving. The mantle activates. The calling ignites. But let me ask you something confronting. When was the last time you stood in the mirror and said out loud, I accept my divine assignment? When was the last time you stopped running from who God created you to be? Most people live in survival mode. They wake up and immediately brace for the day. But God didn't create you to simply endure. You were created to rule. Let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. That's not metaphor. That's mandate. When Moses stopped giving excuses, the sea parted. When David stopped hiding, giants fell. When Esther stopped trembling, nations were saved. So what's waiting on the other side of your declaration? Let this sink in. The moment you say yes, the moment you stop playing small, you begin vibrating on the frequency of anointing. And on that frequency, things that once felt impossible become available. Supernatural resources begin to align. Old relationships fall away. New doors open without warning. You've already begun to feel it, haven't you? That disconnect from places you once loved. That unease around people you once called family. That fire you can't explain, burning for something more. That's not rejection, it's promotion. If you were of the world would love you as its own. But because you are not of the world hates you. John 15:19. That discomfort. It's proof heaven has elevated you. You don't fit because you've outgrown the assignment of your past. Can you feel it now? Your spiritual DNA is shifting. The old patterns are being overwritten. The old fears are being dismantled. You're not just thinking differently, you're being transfigured. Just as Paul wrote, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Romans 12:2. That word transformed, metamorpho, means what happens to a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. This isn't surface level change. This is spiritual metamorphosis. And hear me clearly, chosen one. You are no longer just a living soul trying to make it. You are a rising leader, a breaker of chains, a carrier of divine truth. The old version of you, the one who bowed under the weight of shame, who believed they were too broken, too late, too small, that person is fading. What's emerging now is fire, boldness, authority, calling. You might be thinking, but nothing around me looks different. That's okay. It doesn't start with the visible, it starts in the spirit. Your circumstances may look unchanged, but they're already shifting behind the scenes. Just like Jesus said, "It is finished," before resurrection ever occurred. You too must declare your transformation before you see the manifestation. Declare it now. Like the Israelites marching around Jericho, shout before the walls fall. Celebrate before the breakthrough arrives. Worship before the door opens. Let your words create the spiritual climate that gives birth to visible results. And now we arrive at the final truth, the one most people never realize, the one truth that separates the 1% from the rest of the world. Chosen one, lean in, because what I'm about to reveal next will reframe how you view every battle you're facing, every delay you've endured, and every part of your life that felt like it was falling apart. The question is, are you ready to receive it? Chosen one, have you noticed the chaos lately? The moment you finally said yes to your purpose, it was as if the entire world turned upside down. Bills that seemed manageable have suddenly multiplied. Relationships you thought were solid are now unraveling. Your health feels under siege. Your thoughts are racing with fears you thought you'd overcome. You're wondering, why now? Why all at once? Let me be crystal clear, this is not coincidence, this is confirmation. Right before every miracle in Scripture, there was always a violent storm of opposition. Before David could face Goliath, he was dismissed by his own brothers. Before Moses split the Red Sea, he stood trapped between Pharaoh's army and the impossible. Before Jesus turned water to wine, he first had to conquer 40 days of temptation in the wilderness. The enemy doesn't waste his arsenal on people who pose no threat. He only goes to war with the dangerous. Think about Job. The Bible calls him blameless and upright, yet he was attacked on every front, his wealth stolen, his children lost, his body afflicted. Why? Because his faithfulness was a threat. His spiritual integrity was offensive to hell. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:2-3. The enemy knows when a chosen one is close to birthing destiny. He panics when heaven starts drawing near. And you, beloved, are at the very edge of that moment right now. If it feels like everything is falling apart, congratulations. You have reached the final threshold before your breakthrough. Hell doesn't concern itself with the lukewarm. It doesn't mobilize legions against the complacent. But for those standing at the edge of elevation, for the 1% stepping into supernatural calling, all of hell comes unhinged. Remember Joseph, just before he was promoted, he was forgotten. Elijah, after fire fell from heaven, Jezebel rose with threats. Even Jesus, before the cross came the Garden of Gethsemane. Do you see it now? The pressure isn't a punishment, it's proof of promotion. Your struggles aren't rejection, they're spiritual confirmation. The greater your anointing, the louder the attack. The closer you get to your moment of release, the more violently the enemy thrashes. The truth is, the devil has seen something in you that you're just now waking up to, and it terrifies him. Understand this: pressure is not distributed equally in the spirit realm. The enemy doesn't go after those who sleep. He goes after those who are about to shift the atmosphere. If you're being hit on every side, it's because you've become a threat. And that's not something to fear, it's something to understand. When a woman is about to give birth, the pain is sharpest in the final minutes. When gold is nearly pure, the fire burns hottest. When the promise is about to be fulfilled, doubt will scream the loudest. But chosen one, your battle is not a sign of weakness, it's a signal of royalty. You are crowned in the Spirit, and though you may not see it yet, the enemy has. And that's why you're being fought so hard. The storm around you is not proof of God's absence, it's proof of your importance. Heaven is watching. And the question isn't, will God come through? He always does. The real question is, will you still be standing when he does? Moses had to raise his staff over the sea before the waters parted. Daniel kept praying even when the lions were near. Esther approached the king knowing it could cost her life. And now it's you. You must stand firm even when your legs tremble. You must hold your posture even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. This is your Red Sea moment, your fiery furnace, your Gethsemane. And like every chosen one who came before you, your breakthrough is not a possibility. It's an inevitability if you don't give up now. I'm not asking you to fake strength. I'm asking you to stand anyway. And if you agree, don't just say it. Declare it. Type in the comments, I am under divine pressure, but I will not break. This is more than words. It's a spiritual decree. It is you aligning your voice with heaven's will and heaven's authority. This pressure, it's producing power. These tears, they're watering your harvest. This battle, it's proof that the miracle is that close. If only you could see what heaven sees right now, the crown, the calling, the assignment, you would bless God for the very storm you're praying for him to stop. And have you ever asked yourself why your battles feel heavier than anyone else's? Why your weight is always a little more intense, your sorrow a little deeper, your warfare a little longer? It's because you're not just carrying your story, you're carrying the breakthrough of generations. You're carrying the weight of your children, your grandchildren, your spiritual descendants, souls with names and destinies that hinge on you not quitting. Your yes is not just about you. It's about the healing of people you haven't even met yet. Esther faced this same moment. In Esther 4:14, Mordecai told her, "If you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Let that truth pierce your soul. Esther could have walked away, but she would have forfeited everything. And someone else would have been raised up in her place. Chosen one, hear this loud and clear. Your awakening is not optional. If you don't step in, someone else may, but you will miss the divine glory assigned to you. The reward was always meant for your name. The crown was always shaped for your head. The people connected to your life, your family, your bloodline, your spiritual community, they need you to rise. So rise, stand, fight, not just for yourself, but for the souls attached to your obedience, the children whose healing depends on your alignment, the families whose curses will break through your yes, the future that will be written by your courage. You were never just fighting for survival, you've been fighting for dominion. And now the heavens ask you, will you carry this weight one more day? Will you fight through this final storm? Will you step into your royal position for such a time as this? Because if you do, the darkness that's been assigned to stop you will realize too late. They couldn't break what God built to last. Be honest with yourself, chosen one. Have you been living like your spiritual journey affects only you? Have you been hiding your light, burying your gifts, postponing your purpose because the weight of it feels too heavy, too inconvenient, too demanding? I understand, but the truth is, every day you delay is a day someone else remains in chains. Chains that were meant to be broken by your obedience, your voice, your testimony. Every time you whisper tomorrow in response to God's tug on your heart, someone else's breakthrough gets postponed. Right now, someone's deliverance is being delayed, not because God hasn't prepared it, but because you haven't fully stepped into your divine role. But hear me, this is not condemnation. This is awakening. This is about coming to terms with the magnitude of what heaven has deposited inside of you. If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them. James 4:17. This isn't just about stepping into blessing. It's about refusing to leave others behind in bondage when you were equipped to lead them to freedom. Moses wasn't just freed to live a peaceful life in the desert. He was called to lead a nation out of slavery. Joseph's dreams weren't about him becoming powerful. They were about preserving life in the midst of famine. And you, beloved, weren't chosen just to survive your own pain. You were chosen to become a spiritual gateway through which others will find healing, deliverance, and destiny. God doesn't just want you saved. He wants you activated. He doesn't just want you delivered. He wants you delivering. He doesn't want you blessed only for yourself. He wants you blessing others, lighting the way for those still wandering in the dark. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. 1 Peter 4:10. You are not just the rescued. You are now the rescuer. You are not just the healed. You are being shaped into the healer. You are not just the delivered. You are becoming the deliverer. You are the one called to rise and to lead others into their rising too. All across this world right now, there are people on their knees begging for a sign, crying out for someone to prove freedom is possible. Families trapped in cycles of addiction, poverty, abuse, and silence, waiting for someone to break the pattern. They need you. They need your story. They need to see what obedience to God actually looks like in human form. And what you're feeling stirring in your spirit right now, that's not just emotion. That's divine weight. That's holy purpose pressing against the walls of your comfort zone, waiting to be birthed. Some of you watching this have felt it for years. You've known deep down that God was calling you to something more, but you kept saying, "I'm not ready. I'm too broken. I'll do it when things settle down." But chosen one, tomorrow is here. And it's not just your tomorrow on the line. It's the tomorrow of your family, your community, entire generations that have yet to be born. Their freedom is tied to your yes. Jesus said it plainly. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before others. Matthew 5:14-16. Your light was not meant to be hidden under fear or delay. It was meant to illuminate the path for others. So do something now. Share this message with one person, just one, who's been on your heart. That friend who's hurting. That family member who's hanging on by a thread. That co-worker who pretends they're fine. Be the bridge between their darkness and their deliverance. Because this isn't just about whether you'll rise anymore. The real question now is, how many others will rise because you did? Look at your hands, not just the physical shape. Look with spiritual eyes. These hands will either build an altar of legacy or dig a grave of regret. Ask yourself honestly, what spiritual inheritance am I creating right now? Is it rooted in fear or faith? Is it debt or abundance? Is it bondage or freedom? The righteous lead blameless lives. Blessed are their children after them. Proverbs 27. You're not just building a moment, you're building a movement. What you choose today becomes the shelter for those who follow tomorrow. You were not born to repeat the dysfunctions of your family line. You were born to break the curse. You were born to initiate a new spiritual bloodline, one bathed in freedom, clarity, and generational blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Genesis 12:3. The enemy has tried to convince you that your life is small, that your decisions affect no one but yourself. That lie is crafted to keep you passive. But the truth is, every prayer you skip, every calling you ignore, every moment you retreat, it doesn't just rob you, it robs your lineage. Let that sink in. Your obedience writes the future. Right now, there's a child not yet born whose life will either be marked by freedom or bondage, depending on how you respond to this moment. There's a grandchild who will pray differently, speak differently, dream differently, because you were the one who said, "The curse stops here." Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. Daniel 12:3. Your yes today isn't just a private moment. It's the ignition of a star that will light someone's entire eternity. You are the Abraham of your bloodline. You are the Joshua of your household. Choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24:15. Can you see them? Those future faces, those lives not yet lived, who will look back at this moment and say, that's when it changed. That's when someone finally said yes. In the courts of heaven, your name is written in a book, and the pages that describe your legacy are still being written. So let me ask you now, what story will they tell? Will it be the story of someone who nearly stepped into greatness but shrank back? Or will it be the testimony of a spiritual warrior who stood in the gap, defied the odds, broke the cycle, and changed history? And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. Legacy doesn't always appear overnight, but it always appears when you stay faithful. Chosen one, as we come to the close of this sacred time together, I want you to carry certain truths deep within your heart. Remember this: the weight you bear is not punishment, it's preparation. The battles you're fighting are not accidents, they are assignments. The responsibilities that sometimes feel overwhelming are actually a reflection of how much heaven trusts you. You are not being crushed, you are being commissioned. You are not being overlooked, you're being over-prepared for something that will require every ounce of the strength God has been developing in you. Throughout this message, we've uncovered soul-shaking truths. That God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. That your wilderness wasn't wasted, it was training. That your tears weren't signs of weakness. They were the water for your next harvest. Like Joseph in the pit before the palace, like David in the caves before the crown, like Esther before the throne, like you right now on the edge of destiny. And here's what I want you to never forget. You are not walking this alone. The same God who called you is walking beside you. When your knees buckle, He carries. When your vision blurs, He leads. When no one else understands, He listens. His grace will carry you through what your own strength never could. And beyond His presence there is us, this family of fellow chosen ones walking parallel paths. We are praying for you. We are standing in faith with you. We are believing with everything in us that your breakthrough is closer than it feels. But I must ask, will you now begin to view your challenges not as evidence that God has abandoned you, but as confirmation that heaven has chosen you for more? Will you pick up the mantle, not with fear, but with faith? Let us seal this moment in prayer together. Heavenly Father, I come before you now on behalf of your chosen servant. You see them, Lord. You know the quiet weight they carry, the pain they never voice, the exhaustion they hide, the battles they endure behind smiles. I ask you now to release a fresh anointing over them. Where they feel weak, be strong. Where they feel lost, guide. Where they feel stretched, sustain. Let your presence wrap around them like armor. Send divine helpers into their life, those who will uplift, intercede, and fight beside them. Shatter the lies of the enemy that say they are not enough. Silence every voice that tells them they've missed it, that it's too late, that they're disqualified. Instead, let them hear your whisper. You were born for this. Let breakthrough come quickly. Let the fog lift. Let the provision flow. Let healing rise like the dawn. Let the fire in their belly return, and let purpose flood their soul. From this moment forward, may they walk boldly, not in fear, but in divine authority. And may every delay turn into acceleration, every test become a testimony, every sorrow be transformed into strength. We receive it, we believe it, and we give you all the glory. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Dear friend, If this message has spoken to your heart today, would you take a moment to comment below and share your thoughts? Let us know where you are in your journey. Let us pray for you. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, someone you know is walking through a heavy season, please share this with them. Your act of obedience could be the very spark that reignites their faith. I want to say a deep and heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you who supports this channel through Super Thanks. Your generosity makes it possible to keep producing messages like this, reaching people all around the world who desperately need hope. And please know this, whether you donate or not, I'm profoundly grateful just for your presence, your prayers, and your partnership in the Spirit. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a message that could speak directly to your moment. When you like, share, and comment, you're not just engaging, you're helping these words reach others who are crying out for confirmation, for breakthrough, for proof that they're not alone. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you. May He give you peace that surpasses all understanding, strength in your weary moments, and clarity when the path feels unclear. Until we meet again, never forget, you are chosen, you are appointed, you are anointed, and your legacy is being written even now. Go forth in power, go forth in grace, and go forth knowing heaven moves when you do.